Hi, so this is a 1 versus 2 or a 2 versus 1 depending on how you look at it. And it's actually me here playing under a slightly different name than usual as a Protoss player. And I'm allied up with my friend here. He usually goes by the name Mythos or Erdrick as a Terran player. And we're playing against my brother here as the Zerg player. So the reason we decided to do this as a 2 versus 1 is there was only 3 of us, and my brother was the best. He's had the most experience with this game. He's in the Platinum League, or was in the Platinum League until the recent reset of the beta servers. And so he was beating us in 1 versus 1, so it made sense to see if he could beat us in a 2 versus 1. So this is actually the first day that this Terran player has played Starcraft 2. He was a big fan of Starcraft 1. He played a lot with me. In fact, the first commentary I put on YouTube was a commentary with me, myself, and this player in a 2 versus 2 game from 2001. So he's a longtime fan of RTSs. This was his first chance to try out Starcraft 2. He managed to play a couple 1 versus 1 versus my brother just prior to this match. Didn't do very well, but again, my brother is Platinum League, and this Terran player is just starting. So the Terran player was expecting a rush. So what he did is he set up double barracks, which is kind of a non-standard approach, but he wanted to quickly set up some kind of wall to defend against what he was expecting to be an onslaught of Zerglings, which was a pretty safe assumption because that is a pretty common strategy my brother likes to go for, is get his spawning pool up early and send lots and lots of Zerglings. In the meantime, I've sent a probe in here and scouted him out. I see he has a spawning pool up, so I'm expecting he's going to start pumping Zerglings, and he surprises us and does not do that. Because I'm expecting a bunch of Zerglings, I quickly got a forge and a photon cannon. What I realized later is that this photon cannon, the way I have it set up now, I've now completely blocked. Not even a probe or zealots can get up and down this ramp. So this was kind of a placement on my part. I didn't want to completely wall myself off, and I ended up having to destroy this photon cannon later. It's too bad this isn't like when the game was first conceived. I know they were looking at making photon cannons so they could move around the map, but that's certainly not here. And we were experiencing, because this was the first day the patch was out, we were experiencing a lot of lag. So I mean, there you can see my probe can't getting in. So I mean, there was some miss micro of our units and stuff. My brother put his hatchery here. I have to say, this was advice I actually gave to him at some point, which now I think we both agree is probably bad advice. The reason I suggested this, and it was something that worked really well in StarCraft 1. In StarCraft 1, it was really hard it would be a while before you could get your creep and put any kind of defensive structures at the top of your ramp. So putting a hatchery near your choke points was a really good way of setting creep up to build defensive. But with StarCraft 2, your queens can build these creep tumors, and once you get up to lair tech, your overlords get this ability to generate creep. And not only that, but the spine crawlers, which are like sunken collies from StarCraft 1, can actually get up and literally move from one location to another. So I think with those 3 innovations in StarCraft 2, it's no longer really necessary to put a hatchery here to get creep here. You can just, as you see, he's putting a creep tumor up now. You can just use the creep tumors or the generate creep ability to set up defensive structures. So my brother said after the fact he wishes he really had put that first hatchery down here at his natural expansion. It would have made a big difference in his macro game later on. So you see now, Terran player has his defense up. It's kind of an interesting wall where he has these supply depots which he can lower to let units in these points here. He also has these little pockets where he can put his Marines to shoot units as they come up, and he's now getting his expansion here. And one of the messages he saw to me, which I, depending on their resolution watching this, is his plan at this point is to tech up to Banshees, and here I am having to unfortunately destroy my photon cannon just so I can get in and out of my base, and I'm setting up another one there. So we can see how we're doing for income. The Zerg for my brother, who's I'll show you, by himself, although he has scouted my base, he's getting a medium amount of minerals, and he's doing quite well for gas. Although he has the fewest number of resources, and right now it looks like the Protoss, which was the race I was playing, it looks like I'm doing a little bit better on economy here at this stage in the game, which is good because my economy game is a game that I was trying to work on. And here I am asking the Terran player to please scanner sweep the Zerg, because at this point we don't know what he's doing. But you can see here he goes for a really interesting strategy here, where he's setting up a Nidus network and building from both hatcheries. He's building queens, so he's going for lots of queens and a Nidus network. And I was a little bit nervous that something like this might be happening, so I set up spaced out pylons, and then I started putting out photon cannons, because of course you can still set up a Nidus network even with my pylons there, but he can't do it if I've got cannons there, because the cannons will kill the worm before it has a chance to appear. And I'm sending some void rays, because even though this is patch 13, and I believe one of the changes they made to patch 13 is they changed the range. They made the range of the void rays shorter. These still are very effective units for creating harassment, taking out buildings. So now he is loading all of his queens into a Nidus network, which is going to pop up here. The Terran player, I did warn the Terran player. I think we were nearby, so I shouted to him, Nidus network, prepare your defense. But he didn't get, he wasn't ready in time. And so now you've got something like 7 queens. The other thing my brother's doing here, which is really interesting, is he's setting up these spine crawlers. And he's using this his overlord to generate creep, and he's putting down creep tumors, which of course, once you put down one, they could just put down others and others and others. He doesn't even need to use energy to put out new creep tumors, although it looks like he's generating creep tumors from creep tumors. So I wanted to stop his reinforcements, so my void ray does take out the end of his Nidus worm. He's turning his Zerglings into Banelings, which of course are going to explode and cause splash damage to all his buildings. So you may have noticed that Queen was almost dead, and now their health is back up. That's because one of the abilities the Queen has is called Transfusion, where you can quickly regenerate 125 health, although he forgets to use it here and loses 2 queens as my units come in. Part of the reason, you may wonder, part of the reason my units were so slow is because my ally forgot to lower his supply depots for my units to get in. Not that it was a very impressive Protoss force anyway compared to this force that's coming in. So Zerg's rebuilt his Nidus worm. He's got these spine crawlers, and actually I'm going to stop the replay there, right here, and then and when I pick up, we can see if the Terran player can recover from this this crazy rush with queens, spine crawlers, Nidus worms, and lots of creep tumors.